Hi, I'm Olivia, the Southern Yankee Stitcher. Welcome. This is my channel about cross stitch. Cross stitch is probably my #1 hobby, and I enjoy sharing it with you all, and I enjoy the videos that share it with me. I love watching Flosstube, and I hope you all enjoyed this video too. I have some things to share with you. Do have a finish, I have some starts, I have plenty of whips to show you, and some haul. Mainly stitching haul to share with you today. So I have a lot to share. It's been a while since I did a video because I was waiting for to come home and the light be good and not be storming. It seems like every day, right around the time school gets out and I get off work, it storms. So we've had some severe thunderstorms, had hail a couple times in the last couple weeks, and which is kind of unusual. I've just been enjoying my family with Easter, my grandkids, had fun with that, and doing their Easter baskets. I do the Easter baskets for them, and I've been working on trying to get my pool open, and I was just out there doing that and playing with my dogs. Now I'm hot. Maybe should have cooled off a little bit more before I started this video, but I want to go ahead while the sun is shining and get this done. I'm going to start by sharing with you my book days, and it will kind of show you a little bit about what I've been doing. Not to get all into health stuff, but you all know I have arthritis, and when I have a flare-up, it's in my thumbs mainly, probably from stitching. And so when you see no stitch days or blank on my calendar, most of the time that's because I just was kind of hurting, so I couldn't do it. But that's my March. And I think I last filmed, it was the last week of March. It might even been close to the last day of March. And then April, I've been doing pretty good stitching there. And I just started on May. So, yeah, I don't sticker a lot, but I do enjoy keeping a record of what I stitch. It's interesting for me to go back and see when I last worked on it, and what I got done for the year. Kind of inspires you to do more. Let me open this back up. Let's see. Whip Go. Y'all know I'm doing Whip Go, and of course we finished up. I think I'd already finished on my March stitching for Whip Go when we last filmed. My March days were a Christmas ornament, which I didn't ornament, and Lincoln's Eagle, and I worked a good bit on Lincoln's Eagle. For April, I had Elizabeth Young, and I will show you her. She's a sample I've been working on. And then I had a choice of either Battle Hymn of the Republic or Old Main Street. These are both on the same fabric, so they're in the same project bag. Old Main Street was already started, so I continued to work on that. For May, I have Santa's 12 Days of Christmas. It's a Prairie Schooler. And United We Stand, and that's a Blackbird. And I'll show you what my plans are with those too. So let me get back in here. Last week of March and first part of April, I worked on the same chart because I really wanted to get it done. And it's called Lincoln's Eagle. It's by Teresa Kogut. I love this chart. There is a lot of work to it. With the feathers, it's a lot of counting there to do all that outline. And my goal was to get it done. I was preparing to go to a retreat that was held by, the Stitching Kitten. And it was stitching at the lake. You know who is trying to bite my book of days? Like, he's never done that. Just trying to be bad when I'm on video. So I wanted to get this done, so I just had fill-in to do. And that's what I did. I worked hard. I got everything done except the fill-in, which is like that burgundy color around the edge. The color is actually, let's see, where to put the chart? How did I lose it that quick? Okay. Oh, geez. Okay. I think it's Rum Raisin by Weeks. This is stitched on weak straw, 36 count, so it's 1/2. All I had left to do, this was error up here, ignore that stripe at the top, but all I had left to do was the fill-in all around it. You see how that dark burgundy kind of color fills in, and then the navy blue. So I got the chart to this point, so all I had to do, I even did the words there at the bottom, which they'll pop once you get the background on there. All I had to do was fill in. Y'all, I forgot to take this chart with me. So I didn't take it to the retreat. So this may be going with me to another retreat, because all it is fill in. And that's easy to do. Won't make a mistake that way. And anyway, so that I worked on Lincoln's Eagle a couple of weeks, actually. All right. Keep closing my book. All right, the next one I worked on was Blueskin. And this is by Plum Street Samplers. With George Washington and one of his battle horses named Blueskin. The other one's named Nelson, and I completed Nelson. I did take this to the retreat. And I got to the point where let's see, what was I missing? Very little's missing. But I needed weeks grapevine to finish. I think it was the initials and the date. It's also somewhere on George, part of his coat. I think I'm missing part of his coat. Yeah. So I needed that color to finish up his coat, I believe. Yeah. And I just ran out, and I asked them to bring me some things from the shop, some fabric to look at, and some floss. And I don't know if they didn't have that in stock or what. I was trying to match fabric with another color, so I didn't end up getting the floss at the retreat. I'd already been to the shop and didn't realize I was out, and I didn't want to backtrack to the shop. So I just need to place an order for some floss, and you know, can't really travel alone. So I'm working on a list of things that I need for projects. Okay, so I worked on that at the retreat Friday night and Saturday, and I couldn't finish it. I thought I was going to finish it, so I was a little disappointed with that. And this was, I believe, the week before Easter that we had the retreat. So I pulled out this Shannon Christine pattern called Easter Bunny. That was so cute. I got this at a retreat at Panda's Crossing. And so this is on a 28 count even weave mystery name, mystery maker. I don't know. And I did the back half of the bunny. I'd had most of the face done in the front legs, so I did the back half. And that's about all I got done on that bunny. Hopefully, I'll have it done before next Easter. Okay, then there was an online retreat. It was the first, did I bring it with me? Oh, y'all gotta go get something to show you. Just hang on, I'm not even gonna stop it because I don't want to edit. So I'll be right back. Did you entertain yourselves? White cat was just sitting here. I don't know if you can see him or not, but oh, okay. So I got my first ever retreat in a box. And y'all, I haven't gotten Christmas boxes or Halloween boxes or any of those that they do. When I saw this one, I thought, this is me. I need to do this one. Sorry, I was running. So this was put out by the Black Needle Society, and it's Downton Abbey seasons, Stitching at Downton seasons 1 and 2. I love Downton Abbey. I have the box CD set of all the seasons. I think it's a great show. I've watched the series, I think 3 times now. And I watched it right before we did this online retreat. Unfortunately, I had things planned during the online retreat. I didn't really, well, 2 of the days were when I was working. So I would try and log into the lives when I was home in the evenings. But I just didn't always even hit those at the right time. And on the weekends, I think that's when me and my daughters we went shopping. They want to go shopping together, and I'm not going to miss the opportunity to do something with my kids for an online retreat. I'm just not going to do it. But this was the pattern that we got. It's called I'm a Custodian. And it's kind of based on some quotes to the show. So let me show you what came in the box. I may miss something. I've tried to leave this together so I wouldn't miss anything. But from Mrs. Patmore's Kitchen, you got a book, a little binder, and a pack of recipe cards from her kitchen. We got a piece of linen, and this is a 32 count. What's the name? Well, I don't know if it says the name, but it's just to remind you of the Dowager's purple hat. It's a pretty piece. Not sure what I'll put on that. I kind of would like to see something that's all white on there. Then we got I would put this on a zipper pull is what I would call it. And it says, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Then we got some, now you bought your own floss and fabric for the project. The purple was not for the project, and these colors were not for the project. But these are by Color and Cotton. Titanic Disaster. GB for Great Britain declares war on Germany. Can you see the cats being crazy? Spanish flu spreads across Europe. And Turkish ambassadors found dead. So we got those flosses from Color and Cotton. I've never used Color and Cotton, so I'm looking forward to that. We got a needle minder. It's like a cameo. Oops. Got Lord Grantham's Custom Blend Tea. O'Brien's Regret. This is soap. If maybe I've already seen all these items. Do you remember O'Brien purposely left the soap on the floor? This is a typewriter shaped waxer, Gwen's typewriter. Remember Gwen took a stenography course? A floss winder. Okay. I enjoyed receiving that. I really did. I wish I would have had more time for the actual retreat. We also got these scissors. Very pretty. And this project bag, which is very pretty. I like it a lot. So I chose, let's see, 32 count parchment from Atomic Ranch. And that's how far I got on mine. I did it just during the retreat, a little bit here and there. So haven't put a lot of time into that. I need to put some more time into it because this is what it's going to look like, but this is first in a, I want to say 4-part series. Don't hold me to that. I might be wrong, but it's going to be a, in the style of a Rhode Island sampler. And I hope I'm getting that right, where it has a border that goes up like on each side and across the top mainly. So this is going to be, this is the center of that sampler, and we will fill in the other 3 parts at a later date. I'm stitching with DMC, except it was all called for DMC, except the writing, which is going to be Gentle Arts Cinders. And I'm pretty sure this is a color palette for the whole series. This is the Cinders right here. It's this like burgundy variegated color. Pretty colors. And I have so many floss drops that I got from people at retreats, and those are, I tried to pick some that kind of were like, I don't know, maybe a little old-fashioned. Those are the only 2 that I have in this ring. But I like using my floss drops. Okay, so anyway, that was my first ever box, and I enjoyed it, really did. Pardon me. I next stitched on a Whipco pull, which is Old Main Street by Manny Dodonna. This is a chart that I got at StitchCon a couple years ago. I saw the model and loved it. You know, I'm a patriotic girl. I stitch a lot of patriotic stuff. A lot. I'm stitching this on 32 count parchment by Weeks Dye Works. And that's where I am so far. I started over here. I had the barn done and half of the White House beside it. And I did the other half, and then I realized I was off by one thread, not even a whole stitch. And I tried to fudge it, and it was just obvious to me, so I had to rip it all out and redo it. And I'm moving my way across, and there's really not that much more I've done. Well, over half. I would say over half of the chart. Because that's not... You've got the flag and the words up top, but the rest is fabric you're seeing. It's not stitching. So I worked on that and got my Whipco Gold Met 4. That was part of my April Whipco. My other Whipco for April was Elizabeth Young. Elizabeth Young is a chart I'm not in love with. And I'm pretty sure it's because of the fabric. Well, it's a little bit of everything really. But this is, the chart name is Elizabeth Young, 1829, a Mid-Atlantic American Sampler. And it's by Samplers Revisited. And they said this was in the style of a Delaware or Pennsylvania sampler. My paternal grandmother's maiden name was Young. So I was like, hey, it could have been some of her family. So I started stitching it. Well, I started in the top right corner like I normally do. This basket of flowers, y'all, confetti heavy. And I don't love the colors. As soon as I started this, the peachy colors, I'm not a fan of. But I really wanted to get down to this part here. This is kind of a dark bluish green, that grass. It tells you to stitch all the animals first. Let's see. And then do a queen stitch. The dark color is all queen stitch. I've never done a queen stitch before. It's got a little diagram over here. It tells you to do a queen stitch and then just to fill in so it's solid against the animals, because you might not get a whole stitch. Because a queen stitch is 4 over 4. I'm sorry, 2 over 4. No. This is on 36 count. I'm just using one strand of threads, but it is over 4 instead of over 2, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm a little nervous about that, but at the same time, I really want to do it. So this is my fabric. It's a 36 count Edinburgh linen by the name of Flax is the color. I think it's the color of linen that is really throwing me. But y'all, I have so much into it now. I am not stopping. I have, oh, my needle's holding that. Gone, that's how wide it will be. And I think that's also the bottom. So that's the size it will be when I'm done. I like the trees. So what I did in April, and I worked on this 3 days. I feel like I did a lot in 3 days because I did this little motif here, this little strawberry here, this line across. Then I came here, did this bird and this little motif. I don't like that you can't see the leaves. I'm not crazy about the color. I did the line here and these trees. So I'm kind of moving along. Once it's done, I'm sure, you know, I mean, that flower basket is pretty. But let me tell you, it was a bear to stitch. I didn't enjoy it. And I looked at it and I thought, can I just make this into a pin keep and call it quits? But then I looked at the yard of animals. And, well, the name Elizabeth Young, and being from Mid-Atlantic, which that, you know, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, that's where my family's from. That initially attracted me to it because I thought, hey, it could have been like a family member. And there are a lot of Elizabeth Youngs. None that I could trace exactly to my family. But I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna keep going. I'm working on, oh, showing the wrong thing. I'm working on this house next. I've done the 3 trees. Here's the color palette. And here's my different tags I'm using from different people. Do y'all recognize them? Maybe they're yours. So that's Elizabeth Young, and she's probably going to go away until she's caught in another whip go. I didn't mind working on it, actually. The trees and all, they were kind of a fill-in to me, and it was easy stitching, and you know. All right. I did have a finish, and I think I may have had this finished my last video, but I didn't have it with me to show you. I keep a pattern in my bag that I carry with me to work. I keep one that's perforated paper so that if I'm, have a bunch of downtime at work, if I have to cover a front desk or something where I can't really do my job, or I'm stuck at a doctor's office, I don't know, someplace where I'm gonna have a lot of time on my hands, I can pull that out and I can stitch on those without magnification. So this one has been in my bag for probably close to a year because I don't get a lot of opportunities to stitch it. But I did. Our secretary at work was out for whatever reason, and so I was able to work on it and even do the beading at the front desk. So it's not fully finished, but there it is, and that will go to my oldest daughter, who is the Halloween lover in the family. With her other ornaments, I've done some other Mill Hills for her that are Halloween. All right, kind of going in order. I have a start in order of how I've stitched them. I have a start. Cat, no, 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 no. I signed up on Facebook to do a primitive, patriotic exchange. And I wasn't sure what Charlie was going to do when I signed up for it, but I love patriotic, I like primitive, and I thought, why not? Let's do something fun. So the other day, I went through I thought I need to go through my charts and see what I have. Well, I had some charts, and I think I got this as a freebie, maybe at the last retreat I went to. It's by Threadwork Primitives, and it's called American Eagle. And I thought that is perfect for a primitive patriotic exchange. I mean, that's what that is, right? So I started stitching this. I'm pretty sure it's a 36 count because I'm stitching one thread over two. I don't know the name. It was just in my stash. And I've got most of the eagle done. He is done with the called for DNC. And it is $37.99. The other color on here that'll be the stars. The stars is $37.77. And now the eagle, you look at it and kind of say blue, but he's really a gray. And I thought that was, pretty for primitive, especially. So I've been working on him, and it's going fast because, man, once you outline that eagle, you just fill in, and those stars are going to be easy. I'm going to do it into it like a long pin pillow, and I'm not sure about my backing fabric and all that stuff yet, but I'll finish it up prim, and I have to mail it off by June 1st, so I'm on track with that. That's good. All right, so that's my stitching in April. And in May, today's May 4th. Are there Star Wars fans out there? Do I say it? May the 4th be with you. I had to. I'm not a Star Wars person, but I know enough to know that. All right, well, I have some haul I'm going to share with you, and then we'll go over plans, and I need to take a drink of water. I got out of church and met my family. I kind of cook every other week, depending, and so we went out and got Mexican today, and I'm super thirsty after having that Mexican. I went to one of my favorite antique shops, once upon a time. They're in Abbeville, South Carolina. Abbeville's a historic town. They're like 20 minutes from my house. And this is not stitching related, but I had it in my bag with some things. So I collect silhouettes. Y'all may know that. She always ties a little lace or something on her stuff. She has it displayed so cute in her store. There's always so much. It's just a ship. Like I said, I do collect silhouettes, and my late husband was in the Navy, and I'm trying to get a lot of his Navy stuff, like kind of on the wall, do a gallery wall and spare room. And so that will probably go there. I haven't mentioned this in a long time, but my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, who lived right across the street from me while I was growing up, owned a 5 and Dime. It's called Chris 5 and Dime in Frederick, Maryland. Well, while I was in Once Upon a Time, back behind her counter, she's got these big shelves and full of all kinds of things. Some of them are not for sale. It's just things she likes and displays. But she had these price tags that are vintage. And I said, how much for those tags? She said, well, I'm really not selling them, but I'll sell them to you, you know, for just a little bit. And I mean, she packages, she wraps everything, which I do this too. Wraps it in old patterns for her tissue paper. And even like her little paper thing, she puts in a little bag, and she just does a little extras to make it pretty and fun. So I got those from her. My haul's not really in a good order. So, well, let me back up a little bit and show you what I got at the Stitch and Kitten retreat. Well, they had a thing, instead of getting frogs when you, well, somebody at our table gave me that, and it's got little charms in it, I believe. And got lots of little doodads from people at the table. But they gave out little ducks. Whenever you had to go frog something, you could go pick out a duck. So I have, I don't know, 4 or 5 ducks in here. And we also got some charts at the retreat. We got this bag, Stitching on the Lake. This is probably my favorite of the charts. Got that one. A seasonal cat, you could pick what season. I picked autumn. Froggo Loves You by Bad Stitch. Never heard of them. I guess that's all. But then I got some things off the freebie table. Y'all know I always have to hit up a freebie table. And from Little House Needleworks, this is called Hillside Travelers. And it says, up the hill, around the bend, through the woods and home again. I thought that was cute. And then Weeping Willow Welcome from Rosewood Manor. I think I told y'all before, there's a place in my hometown called Rose Hill Manor, and I want to say the wrong thing every time. From Plum Street Samplers, Thankful for Thee. Sue Hillis Designs. I'm not even going to try and say that. Scattered Seed Samplers. Be Still My Soul, Taylor's Roll. Cats, go. I have a basket right here. Of course, he has to jump in the baskets. And then, I'm not sure if or when I would stitch this, but I had to get it. From Samplers Revisited, it's Patriotic Crab. I'm from Maryland, and Maryland, you know, the crab is like their symbol. And, I mean, I just had to. Oh gosh, y'all, I'm looking here in my basket. I started everything in this little this thing here that I needed to show on my video. And I have the 2 charts where I was supposed to announce winners. All right, I'm gonna film this video. I don't want to have to edit. I mean, my software is just, it takes forever. I'm just not going to edit. So what I'm going to do is after I upload this video, I am going to do another one. It's just going to be like a Flosstube extra. And I may not show hardly any stitching in it, but I'm going to announce the winners. So when you see my next video, it's going to be very short and I'm going to announce winners, okay? And they were winners of these 2 charts. I'm so sorry. These were in the bottom and I just forgot about it. Okay. Also, while I was at the Stitching by the Lake retreat put on by the Stitching Kitten, they had some vendors there, and one of them was Steno Stitches, and they had project bags or folders. And I'd been eyeing them the whole time I was there, and I thought this was such pretty fabric. And I don't have any Christmas bags. I mean, yeah, I've made some bags, none of them are Christmas themed. I decided I was going to put all of my Satsuma Street ornaments in here, but it would be a good place to keep them. That's the one that I've already stitched. The new project in my bag that I carry to work is that pink deer with the Christmas tree on its head. It's another ornament, and I'm just going to keep those in here. Very nice bags. Very nice people. Okay. Before I went to the Stitching Kitten retreat, I saw this on Marketplace. They had a, pardon me, they had a yard sale listed. It was called like Grandma's Quilting and Stitching Yard Sale. And it was going to be the Saturday of the retreat. Well, I was going Friday night to the retreat and staying the night and then staying Saturday night because it was Friday night, Saturday, all day Saturday and Sunday. This cat, if you could see what he's doing right now, he's being ridiculous. Only when I get, like a kid when you're on the phone, only then. Leave those alone, okay. So I knew I couldn't go to the sale, and I'm like, I mean, how often do they have a cross-stitch yard sale? So I messaged the lady, and I said, any chance you'll be selling anything early? You know, you have it early, come see. I'm going to be out of town Saturday, and I can't come, but I'm a cross-stitcher, and I'm very interested in the stuff. And she said, yeah, I could. I said, well, hey, I work at a school. I can be somewhere as early as 4 o'clock. So I could come either Wednesday at 4 or Thursday at 4. And she said, I'll be setting up Thursday. So just, you can come on Thursday at 4. I said, okay. She was having it in her church. So it was set up inside. And I told one of my friends, I'm going to the sale. It's a cross-stitch yard sale. Like, I need more of that. Like, but I guess I did need more of that. So I said, I hope it's not all like 1990s bears and geese. You know, I stitched plenty of those, y'all, so I'm not insulting anybody that did that because I did it too, but I'm not interested in that now. So I go and I start looking, and the charts she has are kind of like that. They're very dated and you know, I will stitch an old pattern in a heartbeat if it's something that I like. And I said, you know, what are your prices? She said, well, just make me an offer. I said, you know, I really don't want to do that. I said, I'm just going to be honest with you. I want to bargain, but I want you to feel like you made a good sale too. You know, I don't want you to feel like you sold it too cheap. And she said, well, like what they normally cost plus half off. And I'm like, I'm not paying half price for, you know, stuff that's as old as this was. So I said, well, let me just kind of put aside what I'm interested in, and you can tell me a price. We'll go from there. She said, okay. So the first things I started looking at were frames. And These were frames that are definitely from the 80s, 90s era. They have stickers on them. This one has a sticker on it from Waccamaw, Waccamaw. We didn't have one of those stores where I'm from in Maryland, but I feel like I heard people talking about those. But they were obviously frames for stitching. And because it's so hard to find a round frame, I got this one. And the other ones I got, you know, I'm a sucker for a cross frame, but also things like the Old Main Street that I'm stitching now might, you know, fit in this. It's got a deep like inset, so you can mount on like foam board and it still is going to be flush. Oval's also another kind of hard shape to find sometimes. And that one, whichever way. It's got a hanger so it goes this way, but I would probably put something in it like that. I don't know, depending on what to stitch. So I got those stitching frames and I left there. She was happy with what was sold and I was happy with the price. So I think we found that happy place in the middle there. She had, this is old stuff. I don't know if it has a date on it. It's funny, it was made in New Windsor, Maryland, which is not far from where I'm from. But it's perforated paper. And I'm doing so many ornaments, and these are so easy to see on. More perforated paper. And then this is plastic, but it is small. It's about as small as the paper. You know, I remember doing the bigger plastic canvas with yarn. We made little boxes and things with them. That was a big thing, I guess, in the late 80s, mid 80s maybe. But this plastic, you know, I just feel like I can use it just like I would perforated paper because it's such a small like count. It says 14 mesh. It was made for cross stitch just a long time ago. So, but anyway, I got that because I thought it was neat. She had a couple of these, and this is the only one that I thought was really pretty. And it's a frame that has that picture on it, and you just stitch the middle part. Well, it's taped shut. It's still in the package. Then, this is like a little, it can be an ornament or it's got a little easel in the back. It's heavy metal. And there's a couple of those. And they came with, you know, a chart, but I probably won't use the chart. Well, I know I won't use the chart. It's got like a colored fabric that you stitch on and everything. I just got it for the frame. Thought that was cute. Look, it's perforated right on the brass. Like a little ornament. This is the same way. It's a stocking kit. And then, you know, I've seen so many round ones like this, but the square, I haven't seen as many of, and I like the square. I see round ones and I, you know, pass them by, but I don't know. And I got some ribbon. And I don't know if for sure if I will use it for the ribbon or just like a riser for Christmas decor. So I got those and I was happy with that. I also got some DMC, y'all. When I say I got some, I mean I got a lot. She had DMC in floss away bags and then in these boxes that held like two, if the bags were standing up, there was 2 rows of them. And then it was a kind of box that, I don't know how to describe it. Like maybe you would get fried chicken or something in at the grocery store where the sides come up and they make a handle and then the ends like clip onto each handle to hold it closed. And it was called Flosstube on these. And it was made for the floss away bags. So she had 4 of those full. And it was DMC and then some other stuff. I couldn't even tell what the other stuff was really. I mean, I could have, but I just didn't want to take the time to do that. So I looked at the DMC, and she was like, didn't know what kind of price to give me or anything. And so I'm like, well, I'm just gonna come back to that. So then she had boxes and boxes of cross stitch and quilting magazines. And I started going through them, and some of them were old, some of them were not that old. And I picked out a couple, and I've already put them away, so I can't show you those. But I got probably 8 years worth of just cross stitch Christmas ornament issues. There were some others that I kind of would pick and choose if I saw the pattern in them. There was one, I should have brought it in here. I should have pulled it out. I put everything away. I'm trying to get my craft room organized. Always, that's always job. There was a chart that Lisa the Kindred Stitcher did, and it was called Redware. And it had redware plates on them, like maybe 3, and then it said redware across the top. And I just loved it. I have like 3 or 4 redware plates, and that's it. But I like the look of it, and I would stitch it so it would be kind of small is what I would like to do. But it was in a magazine from like the early 90s, and it was called Cross Country Stitcher, I think. I've stitched a welcome fractor out of it, and it's probably my favorite piece I've ever stitched out of an issue that was about that old. Well, like I said, I saw Lisa stitching that. She showed the magazine. I went to eBay after I saw it in her video. She showed it several times till it was completed, maybe a couple years ago. And I didn't see the issue online anywhere. So I'm like, well, when I was flipping through that box, I recognized the front of that magazine. And I'm like, is this the one I already have? And I flipped, and I opened right to that redware chart. And I was like, done. I can't believe I found it. So I was happy about that magazine for sure. I got all my stuff together. Everything was gonna be cheap, really cheap. And she had all that DMC in the floss away bags. And then she had a big Rubbermaid container with floss away bags just loose. They weren't in any kind of order. So I said, I'll get the boxes, all 4 boxes of DMC. So y'all, I have integrated that floss. And she said some of this was my aunt's. Her mom had just passed away at 91 years old, something like that, early 90s. And so, that's why most of her things were dated, but she had some things. She had some magazines that were like 2011, which is pretty new for, there's plenty of charts that are that old that I like. But as far as, I was hoping like a Prince and Prairie School or something, she didn't have any of that in there. But some of the floss, she said, was her aunt's, and then most of it was her mom's. So I got it home and started, I keep all my DMC in a card catalog. It's a 15-drawer card catalog, and have little envelopes. And I made a color copy of the DMC book, cut it up so I have the number and the color in the corner, like where you would put the stamp on an envelope. And I keep them filed that way. That I did have them all in bags, the plastic bags that you get at Hobby Lobby. They're not Floss Away brand, but they're similar. And that just wasn't doing it for me. I don't know why. I don't know. I just didn't like it. So I like the system I have now. What I had before only filled up about maybe 12 of the 15 drawers. Something like that, 11 or 12. It's maxed out now. I integrated all her DMC with mine. So if I had an envelope for it, I threw out her bag and I put it in the envelope. If I didn't have an envelope, it was a color I didn't have, I just left it in the bag because of time constraints, because there were so much. This took me hours and hours to do. A couple of evenings I did this. She also had a lot of blending filaments, and metallics. Some were DMC, some were Krynic, some a couple brands I hadn't heard of, but I don't use a lot of metallic. But hey, if I do, I have there were probably 25 different metallics in there, and most of them were new, hadn't even been opened, and I didn't even know they were in there. Um, there were a couple of silks in there, not a lot of those. It was a brand that I Googled it and found it, but I can't remember the name of it now. It's not a name I've heard of. I think that's all I got from that sale, but yeah, so if anyone local or is going to see me at a retreat and they have some DMC on their list, y'all, I got you. I have everything from the ones that had the numbers on them that were rubber stamp numbers on them to current. There's like 4 different DMC labels that vary slightly with the way they put the number on there. It's kind of funny. And there is some dye lot changes from some real old ones. So I just have to kind of be careful choosing threads that if I need more than one, I will go with a newer one, you know, but if I don't, I'll just go, it's so slight change, most of them, that I won't worry about it too much. What else did I get from that sale? One thing I'm decided I'm going to do is, well, I was saying, hey, if you need some DMC, call me. I'll bring it to you. I have plenty. One thing I'm going to do is kit up some of the charts that I have. If they use DMC, I'm going to go ahead and kit it with the flosses. There are a lot of charts that, you know, if I really want the variegation and the variegation is used in a big way on the pattern, I will get the variegated over dye floss. But, you know, most of the time I just use DMC. So I will definitely use it. And cording, I don't have to worry about using up all the color that I have. I can make cording to match every project. I had something in my head I was going to tell you and I forgot. Oh, there was a lot of the variegated DMCs, the 100s, that I didn't have. I think that's it. Seemed like I was going to tell you something else about the DMC. But anyway, yeah, I've doubled my DMC collection, which was pretty substantial to start with, because sometimes when people know that you're stitching, they give you some floss. And I had a friend that gave me a box of floss, and I mean, it wasn't a big box, like a shoebox full. But there was a lot in this collection, and I was stitching. What was I pulling together? I forget which chart I need to pull some floss for. And you know what? All of that floss I had, I didn't have that color. I substituted. I was like, there's no way I'm going to go buy another DMC when I have all of these. Oh, one good thing is, like, if you have a real old chart, there are some DMC colors that are discontinued. They don't have anymore. Or they may be colors that just maybe your you know, craft store doesn't have, like Hobby Lobby. But I have them now, so. I have one more thing to show you, and I got this at an antique shop. It's just a book. It's called 1,000 Beautiful Houseplants and How to Grow Them. Okay, but I didn't care about the houseplants. I just wanted a green book. If you all remember, back in March, I had this finish, and I just popped it in the frame. It's just Scotch tape on there, so I could pull it out real easy, because I wasn't 100% sure that I wanted it in that frame. Well, I really decided I wanted to mount it on a book. You've probably seen Teresa Kogut mount pieces on books, and this is, you know, of course, would be wrapped up better. But go like that, and I can just sit it on the shelf, open the book slightly, and have it sitting there. And I love that. It's just the right color green that I wanted. The only book I would have liked better is the one that I think I saw on the Sable Stitchers. I think it was them. She had a green book, and the outside had shamrocks all over it. I'm like, I actually went to eBay and searched old green book shamrocks, and I couldn't find one. But this one will work pretty good. So that's the last of my haul. I did get some furniture pieces from a store that was going out of business. I got new kitchen chairs I don't have in here yet. I need to kind of put a little, I need to spruce up the finish. They don't need to be refinished, but just a little bit. Because my daughter, my youngest daughter, wanted the dining room table that used to sit where I'm sitting now. And it was an oak table, a big oval oak table. It's too big for this room with these chairs, 6 of these chairs, 2 with arms. Well, I found this table that I'm sitting at now, and I think it's an Ethan Allen table, and it's farm style table where the top's wood color and the legs are like an off-white. That are kind of distressed a little more. It's already a little bit distressed because it's an older table, but it's narrower and it fits the kitchen so much better because the other table, although it fit in here, if you were sitting at the table, people couldn't get a rock around you to go like back to the stove if the food was on the stove or whatever, or to the refrigerator, get a drink or whatever. They couldn't walk around. You had to kind of scoot up and suck it in and for them to squeeze by. So I didn't want that table anymore, but I didn't buy chairs with this table. This table that I have here, this farm table, was a $30 find at Goodwill because one of the legs was chewed up by a dog. But I used wood filler multiple times and then painted the legs. And you can't tell, y'all. I used chalk paint on it. You can't even tell that it has a bad spot on it. But anyway, but I still have the old chairs, and they're too tall for this table. I don't like the way they look. And this antique shop was going out of business, and they had a bunch of chairs, and I got them $5 each. So I just need to spruce them up a little bit. And I'll be real happy to have that done. I just don't like the way these chairs look in here. Anywho, plans. The only plans that I have that I know of right now are WIPCO plans. In my WIPCO poll, one of them is the Prairie Schoolers Santa's 12 Days of Christmas. If you haven't seen it, it comes in 3 different charts, 4 days each chart. And when I started this years ago, I said, I'm going to do one Santa a month and have it done by Christmas. Well, can you guess whether or not I got that done? I am stitching this on 32 count lamb's wool Jobelin with a called for DMC. I started it January 9th, 2022. That's how far I am. I like the way this Jobelin is very even. You know, it's an even weave. I don't like the feel of it. It's polyester feeling to me. Maybe it's rayon. I don't know what it's made out of. But that's where I am so far. And I like it. I have a frame for it that I've had. Just waiting for it to be done. I know where I want to hang it at Christmas. I know all that. I've known it since 2022. The other WIPCO poll for this month is United We Stand by Blackbird Designs. And y'all, that's the one I'm doing. I'm just doing it as a chart, not a needle book. I'm stitching it on 32 count. I don't even know what that says. Maybe I knew it at one time. Can y'all read that? I don't know what that is. But I think it was a remnant that I bought. Anyway, this is how far I am. Can you tell I love patriotic? I have a lot of patriotic charts. A lot of them. I still have Easter up behind me, and I'll probably leave it up another week, maybe 2, because when this comes down, Patriotic goes up. I have a lot of Patriotic, and I leave my Patriotic up. I want it up before Memorial Day, and it doesn't come down normally till Labor Day, or the end of August. I don't really have anything between fall and Patriotic. So it stays up through the 4th of July, and just Patriotic is summer to me, kind of all the same. All right, y'all. I think that's going to do it for me. I've been doing this, just about an hour. Don't forget to tune in, like in a couple of days. I will have a video announcing the winners of both of these. Okay? So tune in for that. And I hope you all have a great day, great Sunday. Man, my plans for this afternoon is to do some stitching and take a nap. I'll be back to work tomorrow. I'll see you all next time. Bye.